Báil sé roimhaisteach go dtí print the legend. Seo agran ibre trí siadm cearan don sráid seo. Yeah, agus muid iontasásta a bheith seo aniu le Harbh speisialta aithne sort person that agam arhi. I'd really like to introduce you to a really special guest that we have in the studio today. A newcomer to Belfast. Her name is Hazar Azzeh. And I said that kind of correctly, but only slightly. Do you want to give it a go?
Hazar Azzeh.
Okay.
The right version is Hazar Azzeh.
Azzeh. Yeah.
Well, that sounds absolutely beautiful.
Both sounded really good.
Both sounded good. Thanks a million. And Hazar is living now in Belfast. Since when did you arrive?
Soon 3 months.
3 months. So pretty new to the place. And you are from Palestine. You grew up, born and reared in the West Bank.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Ramallah. And I have family in Aida camp in Bethlehem.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're very welcome to Belfast. And I'm really looking forward to finding out about you and your life and your growing up and your life as an artist. You're really welcome to Belfast. And I suppose what is happening at the moment in your country is horrifying to all of us and horrifying on a daily basis. But I don't want to discuss that war that is going on in your country at the moment with you today. I'd really like to talk about you and growing up because, this place where we're sitting now was a war zone in its own time and mercifully is more or less at peace at the moment. But while that war was going on, I know my husband, your boyfriend's father, and his father, Garrod, grew up here with bombs and mortars and soldiers on the streets and all the rest of it, and yet went to school every day. So I kind of want to talk about you and your development and your growing up. So where did you go to school?
I grew up in Ramallah. It's a city in the middle of the West Bank in Palestine. It's the most developed city, the one with the most opportunities, because the Palestinian Authority is taking it as a headquarter, which I'm against because it's so corrupted and this city is getting more attention and money than other places around the West Bank. I did my primary school in a public school. And then I was in a Christian school for the second half of my school years, only because my parents didn't want my brother to go to a separate school, because public schools after 4th grade, they separate boys and girls, which is similar to Ireland. I was actually very surprised when I found out that this is still happening here. It's still the way it is.
Well, still much. Such a, religion doesn't have as strong a hold as it did when I was growing up in Ireland, but certainly in education, they still do.
Yeah. So basically my parents had the idea if my younger brother goes to a boys-only school, they're going to lose him. He's going to start smoking and so they wanted to put him in a school that is mixed, and I refused for him to go by himself. I said I would go with him. So this is how I ended up in a different school, and then I...
So when you described the school, you described it as a Christian school. So does that mean then that the schools run by the Palestinian Authority, the public schools, so ordinary schools, you don't pay any money and that sort of thing, would they have a Muslim ethos? Is there... So, I'm just thinking of Irish schools, and they have a Catholic ethos and they prepare you for your confirmation, or there'd be mass every Friday, that sort of thing. I mean, is that...
So, surprisingly, no. There's nothing Islamic about it. So in Palestinian education, everyone is obliged to take religion as a subject. Christians take Christianity and Muslims learn Islam. The only difference is that Palestinian churches have have funding to open schools, Christian schools. This is where we would have mass and we would learn about Christianity and so on. And they're private schools, so you pay more. And the biggest difference is learning English, different English, a third language. In my case, it was French. And the school is mixed boys and girls until the end. In public schools, you still learn the same subjects, but a different version of English, which is it's like a Palestinian book made to learn English, where in private schools you learn either American English or British English.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and in public schools there's no third language. So it's only Arabic and English.
And English.
And religion is pretty much the same, just like Christians learn Christianity and Muslims learn Islam.
Yeah, okay, fascinating. And so your mum and dad, and did they both work or?
They did. My mom did. She only retired last year.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So
yes,
happy birthday. She turned 60 last year and retired. She was a school principal. And my dad is a lawyer. He's a calligrapher and was a teacher in university. He taught calligraphy in Bhéal University.
Wow, calligraphy.
Yeah.
I mean, just for any listeners to Print the Legend who don't know, I mean, that's basically a very elaborate handwriting, like you might see in old texts here. If you see the Book of Kells, it's that art form. And they teach it in university.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think they teach it in university here.
It's like an optional course of like 1 hour. It's I wasn't allowed to take it because it's first degree relationship, because he's my father.
Oh,
so he couldn't teach me officially, but I did sneak into like his classes every now and then, and I grew up learning from him.
Yeah, beautiful.
But he's never satisfied. I'm not really good.
Well, you know.
Well, he only said I am good-ish, but never really put as much effort as he wanted me to in like learning it. So
yeah, well,
which is true.
And so you were interested in art and drawing and languages. Your English is really amazing.
Thank you.
So what were your favorite subjects in school?
In school, I really loved Arabic. I still like. We learn classic Arabic in school, and it's like mathematics. It's really like it's hard. It's not easy, and I really liked the complicity of it, and just like it's just made me feel authentic, and it's very essential to learn. So Arabic was like my first and like favorite subject in school. I liked maths for some reason. I can't remember why anymore.
No, you're entitled to like maths. I only wish I had. Yeah. Yes, and so classic Arabic, is that because I know that obviously the Arabic that somebody speaks who is in Morocco, who is in Tunisia, who is in Lebanon, who is in Palestine, are all quite different.
Very different.
Very different. Very
Sometimes
different.
Very different.
Oh, okay. And then is classic Arabic. You know, there's classical Greek, which is completely different from the way Greek is spoken nowadays. Is there that big of a difference between classical Arabic and?
Depends on where. So I would say Palestinian is close enough to classic Arabic, but it sounds different.
Yeah.
But it's really like it's very close in like the grammar and the vocabulary. If we go to like Morocco, Tunisia, it becomes like the gap gets really bigger.
Yeah.
And if you go more south, like to the African, like Libya, Sudan, they're closer even to classic Arabic. So Palestinian is kind of in the middle in relation to classic Arabic, but all the Arab countries unite in classic Arabic. So usually if I meet someone from Morocco or Algeria, I wouldn't understand their spoken Arabic, but we speak Fusha, which is the classic Arabic, and this is the language where we can
connect.
Yeah, because we all learn it.
Yeah,
and like the newspaper, books, like everything official is in Fusha, which is classic Arabic in all these countries, and also the Quran.
Of course,
the Holy Book of Islam is also in Fusha. So, like, yeah, everybody learns it at some point in their lives. So it's where we meet.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have like an argot, a common language that unites everybody. And so you mentioned your brother. Do you have just one brother? Any sisters?
I have 5 siblings.
Oh, 5! So there's 6 of you all together.
Yes.
Oh, nice big family.
I have 2 brothers and 3 sisters, and they all did some sort of art.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Like, can you that?
Yes, we list them.
Yeah, do tell us what they do.
So my elder brother Thiar, he does animation and cinema effects, and all his life, like, he did martial arts and dabke dance, like the traditional dance in Palestine. And then my sister Razan, she does theater, and she did her master's degree. She studied law, and she did a second master's degree in like how to employ theater in reacting crime scenes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's kind of my idol. I hope she doesn't see this.
I hope she does.
And then Juman, she sings. She's a brilliant singer. And then Manar dances. She's a very good dancer. She did dabke, a traditional Palestinian dance, all her life, and then, like, in later stages, she did contemporary dance. And then me, I'm number 5. I did circus.
Yes, we must talk about that before we get to number 6.
Yeah.
Because I really want to talk about that. How did that come about? And there's a circus school in Belfast. I know. There's no such thing in Dublin. Certainly there wasn't when I was growing up, and I don't think there is to this day. So was there a circus school in your city?
Yeah, so that takes me to number 6 and number 2.
Okay.
Number 6 is my brother. His name is Muhammad. We call him Hamoudeh. He did circus, and he's also a sound engineer at the moment. Basically, he was the reason I got into circus. My sister, who does theater, Razan, her teacher is the founder of the circus school back in 2006. And she was volunteering in admin work at the time to like help him set up the circus school. And Hamoudeh, my brother, joined first. And I think on his second training, me and my dad went to pick him up. At that time, I was doing ballet. So I went to pick him up, me and my dad, and he wasn't finished yet, so we had to like just park the car and got up to the like training space. And I was in love with the atmosphere and like the energy and how like it's very vibrant, and there's a big variety of what people are doing and training on. And that was it then. The next week I just joined them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how old were you?
I was 8 or 9. 9.
Yeah.
9.
So young enough, the right age. Because I remember reading about this, if you want to learn particularly physical skills, between 7 and 12, they call them the skill-hungry years.
Yeah.
You know, when children really want to learn and really want to practice, and it's like it's a big thing in their brain, so they will do it again and again and again. But after 12, your desire to kind of acquire those kind of skills painstakingly and repeatedly just goes down a little bit. So you were just at the right age and you loved it. And I know what your speciality isn't, I think, a trapeze artist?
Yeah.
Wow.
So just to clarify, it wasn't the swinging trapeze. It's like a static trapeze where I do tricks on it.
Oh, wow.
And I did also partner acrobatics, which is acrobatics with a second person, sometimes with more than just a duo.
I know, I was thinking about it because, looking at the Olympics and I had been chatting to Kieran and work and stuff and wanting to get in touch with you to do the interview. And I was watching the gymnasts, and a lot of that work that gymnasts do, particularly on those two bars, would be very similar in terms of like your physical technique. But obviously then, or would you think that?
I would say, actually, no.
No, Grace, thank you.
It's actually really different. I mean, technically, it could look the same, but in gymnastics, it's so much more strict and very on point. And also the way they learn it and the age they start is very, very different. It's very strict. Circus gives you more freedom of there are different rules that you have to follow, but then everybody has different response and different ways of delivering those rules, and you have this freedom in circus, whereas in gymnastics you don't.
Yes, you're so right when you pointed out, because literally when they land, they have to land like this and all of that, and the stance is so particular that I see what you mean.
In circus, no, it's more relaxed. You do have to land on both feet, but if you don't, it's not a catastrophe. It's not like you're a failure, It's that sort of thing. There's a flexibility in it. This is why circus is a very accessible art, and anybody can do it with no matter what's skills and how much they have flexibility or what's their physical abilities. It's an accessible art, and
that's so lovely. I can see that the culture of it is what attracted you as well as physical activity or doing tricks or anything else. It's very inclusive kind of culture.
Definitely.
True.
And up until to the most professional I got, it was never the goal was never to be the best or to do these tricks the cleanest or the most professional. It was never this. It was everything around it, the culture, the environment, the energy, and the community that we have built, and also the children we also deliver this to.
And so were you working in circus in Palestine
yes,
for a number of years?
Yeah.
And I know that you came and spent a year in Galway.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was associated with circus work.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Galway, or was there a scheme? Were you invited? Was it a... Can you explain it to us? Thanks?
Yeah. So I did circus in Palestine. There's a circus school now. It's based in Birzeit. And since it was founded in 2006, the idea was, because it's in Ramallah, to get out of the centrality of Ramallah, and that Ramallah has all the opportunities. The circus school has been teaching circus in making circus clubs in different cities and refugee camps and villages. Sometimes teachers go to these places. Sometimes we bring children from these places. Some of these children became one of the key trainers of the circus school, and basically all the employees, the core employees of the circus school at the moment, are people who were students in different cities and in refugee camps and in villages outside Ramallah. So I did that for a while. I was a teacher at the circus school for a while. At the same time, I was performing and touring. And during these years, I had so many opportunities of exchanges, whether people come to Palestine and we have a summer school together and produce a show together, or us going abroad doing the same, but in different places in Europe and in the Arab world. And loads of opportunities. And then the last opportunity was there was a volunteering opportunity in Galway Community Circus, and to be honest, I applied for it in half an hour before the deadline. And to be more honest, I didn't know much about Ireland then.
Yeah.
I was
well, we're a small country, not,
Well, I did know the basics, of course, but like not really. Like it wasn't like I really wanted to come or anything like this. No, it was just like, oh, there's this opportunity. I was just about to finish university. Like I was just doing my final project, and basically it was like would be fun to have like a year abroad before I actually start working or something like this. And that's what happened. They interviewed me and they liked me. And I came to Galway. For
And who were you with? What was there? Was there a specific company that was employing you in Galway? Or?
Yeah, the Galway Community Circus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They were working on a very, very nice project, which is around mental health, because the Corrib River in Galway, a lot of people, because it's very fast, it's short, fast and deep.
Yes.
And it's very stony. A lot of people kill themselves in the river.
Yeah.
It's an easy way. And they had like really high numbers just before 2020 when I was there. So in 2020 it was the cultural capital of Europe.
It was.
Yes. So part of this, they had the Galway Community Circus planned a festival which is the longest wire crossing in the world. That was going to take three days, continuous 3 days. And it's to raise awareness on mental health and mental health and well-being. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it because COVID.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Poor Galway and the cultural capital, because it was actually dogged by a lot of controversy even before COVID happened.
Yeah.
They'd had to fire, I think, the director of it and get in a new director, and then of course it all becomes very difficult because of COVID. So your year in Galway was the year of COVID.
Yes, but I think I had the best lockdown anyone could have.
Okay. Were you by yourself?
Now I say this, at the time I really wanted to go home and be with my family because, everyone was scared, and my dad has asthma and he was high risk and so on.
Worrying.
So it was very worrying.
I know, and a lot of people who were living abroad just got flights and said, that's it, we'll go home.
I couldn't. So I was in lockdown for 6 months in Galway. It was the best because I was 2 minutes away, my house was 2 minutes away from the beach. I was in Salt Hill.
That's nice.
So all the restrictions were really good for me. Just the beach is just there. And I also was living with lovely 3 people that we really, really get along. And they're best friends after that year. Because this is the thing with lockdown, it's either you want to kill each other or you get so close. And we're lucky enough that it was actually a very comfortable and nice environment in the house that I was living in. So I can't complain.
Okay, well, good for you. Yeah. No, I mean, that actually does sound like a pretty nice lockdown. I know I was in, a small house in Finicky, and even when you were allowed to drive and go places, I don't have a car. So, and at the beginning I thought, I'll, do a quarter of a mile around the block and back again. But then that gets so unbelievably boring that you just stop doing it. Yeah. But luckily, myself and my husband did not kill each other, and we actually managed to get through it okay. Yeah. Where was yours?
In the house, but we had Caden, so my first child, we had him during lockdown. So we were in the house during
he wasn't born during lockdown.
He was born during COVID, yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I wasn't allowed in until
into the hospital
until the very last hour of it nearly.
Oh, good Lord.
Because they weren't letting anyone in hospitals, basically.
Yeah.
So they didn't let me in. But no, I was working from home, and I worked in a call centre at the time, and it literally nearly drove me insane. I hated it. Sort of God.
Yeah.
I did. Just because my work computer was in the living room, so anytime I went down to the living room, it felt like I was working, and I was going, so I left the computer back, and then I can't even remember what I'd done next.
Yeah.
Just sat in the house for a while, just chilling out, and then I went and got a new job. But yeah, it was a bit...
I know some people found that working from home absolutely awful. and got themselves back into offices as soon as they could, pretty difficult, all right. But did the rain in Galway not drive you mad?
That year was
You're
amazing.
right. It was a really good summer.
Like, I got a tan and everything. Like, it was very long. Like, the summer was very long and it was warm. Like, we had the best weather.
Yeah, you're right. And I remember thinking that at the time, sitting out the back garden, because we were lucky, we do have a back garden, sitting out there at garden thinking, God has said, we got to cut them some slack.
Yeah.
And they can't be queuing to the supermarket in pouring rain. You know what I mean? You just have to queue outside. Yeah, I really thought, okay, somebody's looking out for us. Otherwise, we're all going to go mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and now Belfast, and were you happy to move here? What brought you here?
Sure, I'm happy. It's I would say it's a weird timing, and which made it like very mixed feelings. I had the plan all along to come for personal reasons, and I got a job in accidental theatre, and I was working with them for a while I was in Palestine, and came sometime in between. So my visa took longer than I expected, which turned out to be good at the end, because as soon as I got the job, the war happened in Palestine. And if everything went well, I would have left 1 month or 2 months after the war broke. And that would have been so much harder to live, actually. So at the end, I was grateful that it got delayed and I got to stay longer and be there, because it's just hard to watch and hard to like imagine what's happening when you're away. Yeah. Then when you're in it, and also, everything was not really like understandable at the start, and like everyone was worried and so on.
Like a sense of confusion about what was going on and where it was going.
What's going to happen next, and where it's going and so on. And like who are we in this, and what do we do, and what's our position and so on. So I was actually glad that it got delayed. I'm happy to be here for sure. I think Belfast of all other places is the best place to be at the moment. There's a very good community around me, and also like how passionate people are about Palestine and how much they're doing, and like to raise awareness and like working towards it. It's something that you don't find anywhere else. And even though like now with all the whole world is rising for Palestine, and not only for Palestine, it's like I think the whole world is changing and rising for change, because just like capitalism is just like showing its true face, and the United States and Israel are not hiding their evilness anymore. They're just like, everybody knows now, and everybody have seen it in a way that maybe they couldn't see it before. But still, Belfast is like a very welcoming and accommodating environment for me, and it's also full of arts and lovely people, basically.
Yes, they are actually. I know. I didn't move from Palestine. I moved from Dublin to Belfast. We not quite the same, but it was almost a foreign land because of the war here, and because of a lot of censorship and self-censorship that went on in the 26 counties in the Republic of Ireland regarding the North. It was like coming to a very different place that I quickly realised I knew very little about, but quite different. But it is I think it's a welcoming city. I think the people are extraordinarily friendly, and I'm really glad you feel welcome here. And it's interesting to hear you talking about the difficulty of leaving, because in some people's minds who've never experienced war or experienced living in a very divided country and a very troubled country, they would think, oh, she's fleeing the war, and some people do, obviously flee wars and flee those situations, but it's really eye-opening to realise that, of course, that's a very complicated thing to have in your life, to have your home country be in that situation as it is at the minute, and to be here, and I can really understand it.
Definitely. And by saying that, I don't dismiss, of course, a lot of people flee home because, for example, what I was living is uncomparable to what people are living in Gaza. And yes, a lot of people would flee for war, and they have every right to, if that's their choice and that's where they see is best for them. What I think is important, because what you mentioned is what I actually see a lot from people, telling me how happy they are I'm here and they're glad that I left and so on. It's not the way I feel, because it's this other it's the other face of the coin that people don't really see about Palestine, is how lovely it is, and that we actually love it. I actually love being in Palestine, and I love my community, my family, and if it wasn't for the occupation, I wouldn't choose to live anywhere else, honestly. And even with the occupation, it just makes me want to be there even more, because it is a war of existence at the end of the day, and leaving was, yes, a very hard choice, but until now, it's always it's temporary, and I am going back, and probably going back with a family, or I am going back, and I'm not fleeing, and I didn't leave because of the war. It's just all, this is why it was all weird timing, and also not to forget that things have always been difficult in Palestine, and if someone wanted to leave, would have left before. We didn't really need October 7th to feel we have to leave or not have to leave, or that things are difficult, and especially in the West Bank and the way things are going. It is definitely more intense after the October 7th, but it's always been our life, checkpoints and shootings and arrests, and the occupation is in our lives 24/7.
Absolutely. This war is well, and they have and to call it a war, I think it's annihilation of a very group of people, but yeah, I mean you're living under occupation, so that's a form of war that you're living in.
At
since
the
you were
moment,
born.
it's genocide. It started as a war, and also this is describing it as a war. And October 7th also gives us credit that Palestinians are defending their rights, and their not only their land. People in Gaza have been in siege for over 17 years, and they have every right to defend themselves in any form of resistance they find suitable, and that's a right by the international law given to any occupied nation. So
yeah, absolutely. I think my husband has a T-shirt that is. Yeah. This is very special. It's a form of is embroidery the right words? That is particular to Palestine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called tatriz, the form of embroidery. So these jumpers, my mom makes them. She has a wee business called Serwe.
So she's not fully retired. she's staying busy.
She had to find something straight away.
Yeah.
2 seconds after she retired. She designs, her and my sister design these jumpers and T-shirts as well. And women like from different villages and refugee camps around Ramallah. They do the embroidery by hand themselves. And yeah, it's been really nice. They've started building this community of women that are working and supporting themselves financially. And especially now, like the economics are getting very difficult in Palestine, and it's even harder for women to find jobs and to like be sustainable, get sustainability. So this is another aspect of like other than the art, and that they're actually really nice. It's actually supporting a lot of families and women.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. That's brilliant. Your mum sounds amazing, and so does your dad. And obviously, they've reared some extraordinary children, all with passion for the arts, and your passion for circus, and it was really, really revelatory to me. You know, because it's and about the culture and the inclusion and the fun, and you know, you don't have to be the best, you don't have to be, you know, brilliant, and that sort of instinct. I really I really like that. So listen, thanks a million for coming in after the end of a very long work day, and now it's time for our little fun quiz. Everyone gets so nervous about the fun quiz. I love the fun quiz. Now this is our fun quiz. May have been slightly stolen from Stephen Colbert, but I've added a few originals. Okay, first of all, wait, no, this is the blinking glasses and the reading. Sorry. Okay, so question number 1. Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Oh, any particular reason?
Oranges are, I feel, or at least in Palestine, we only get them in the winter.
Okay, so
they're less accessible.
You think of the winter. Well, that's surprising.
I feel like oranges are connected to like a flu. Because when you have a flu and you have a cold, eat oranges.
Eat oranges, yeah.
But apples are apples.
Yeah. No, I would be apples as well. Just because peeling oranges, it's messy and they get the strange residue in your hands afterwards. Don't like that. Okay. Can you pick one outfit, either when you were a child or as an adult or a teenager, where you put it on and you're like, this is me. I love this. This is my most favourite outfit I've ever worn.
Yes. It's all black, actually. It's a jumpsuit, and I wore it only once. But I really, really, really liked it. Actually, I wore it twice. I wore it to my best friend's wedding party.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I saw you at the premiere of Kneecap wearing the most beautiful. It was green. It was hard to describe green. Emerald, but darker than emerald, and sheeny, and kind of jumpsuity as well.
That's actually a nice one. Yeah. I feel like so much like myself in that one as well.
You look stunning.
I like it.
I almost couldn't say hello to you. I was just going, outfit, hello, outfit. Anyway, yeah. So, is there a movie, or which movie, that you always cry when you watch it?
Ooh, Leo the Professional. And it's also my favourite movie.
What is it called?
Leo the Professional.
I don't know it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Every time I watch it, I know I still like it. It's from the 90s, I think. Basically a paid killer, like a...
oh, right. Yeah, an assassin?
It's in French. Is it in French? No?
No,
Is it a French film?
It's in English.
It's in English?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, this is Leo the Professional. You're thinking of Leon.
Leon
I
the
know the one
Professional,
you mean. Yeah,
Sorry,
but this is different. Yeah.
It might be... No, it's not in French. And it's definitely not in French.
Okay, no.
But it might be Leon, actually.
Leon? Maybe.
Leo.
I've
Are
heard
you
of
Googling?
like Leon. I'll get it here.
Yeah, he'll Google.
Leon the Professional, yeah.
You Google there and we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. The best sandwich.
Ooh. Mozzarella with basil and tomato.
Perfect. perfect. I know they're like the three perfect things in every possible way.
The olive oil.
With the little olive oil, little bit of salt, maybe black pepper.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. I love it. Okay, you only have one song to listen to for the rest of your life. Just one.
Oof. No. That's a hard one.
I know.
A song called Low. Not in English, it's Arabic. Low. It means if.
Sounds lovely.
And the reason is because whenever my mom doesn't drive, so I drive her everywhere. And when we're going from Ramallah to Bethlehem, we always have like
road trip.
Yes,
music.
road trips, music and stuff. And she gifted me this song.
Wow, that sounds lovely. Yeah, I'm going to have to find that too. What is the scariest animal?
Rats.
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
I know. Somebody said hippopotamus once, and we were like, but when are you going to run into one? Whereas rats, like, I hate those statistics. And sometimes I have to put that when you live in a city, you're only like kind of 5 yards from one. Yeah. Luckily, they stay out of sight pretty much. What happens, do you think, when we die?
Ooh. It's an open question, really.
Well,
it's an open
nobody
question
can tell
in
us.
my life. Like, I don't know. I like to think that there's something after, but most of me thinks that this is it. But not really. This is it. I do believe that souls go to like to different bodies, but it's not us anymore. Like you don't. It's not you. It just transfers, but then it's a different life. And like that for me, if I die today, that's it. But like parts of me might transfer to somebody else and do something else, but me is finished.
Yeah, I think that kind of makes a lot of sense, really. Yeah, because you is so earthbound. We're so caught up with, all the small things. They're not small, but, in terms of the universe, they're small. Yeah, so they might
But that's the
fall
quickest
away.
I've ever answered this question, and I might change my answer in a week time or something. Like it's an open question for me. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I think you're dead right.
If I have any updates, I'll let you know.
do. Okay, and final question. Can you describe what you want, what you see, what you envision for your life, a Machan Shaw that's out there in the future, in just five words, big 5 words?
Yep. Big family. Arts producer. Financially stable, let's say. And traveling.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great life, and I think well, that's what we all have to do, isn't it? Yeah. Inshallah. Okay, listen, thanks a million. Oh, have you found out about Leon the Professional?
Oh, yeah. I think the name Leon's just French. He's an Italian-American, last I checked. And no, it's not. It actually has nothing to do with France. So there you go.
Yeah, but it's all in English.
Yeah, it's all in English, yeah.
Okay,
But
great.
it looks good. It came out in 1984.
Yeah.
You were
So
dead right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have to give it a watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, brilliant. Gurmagi Lasva Lynn. I hope you really enjoyed today's chat. I know I did. It was fascinating and inspiring and moving at times. Thanks a million, Hazar, and welcome to Belfast.
Gurmagat.
Fudge Road.
That's good.